let's talk about wheels. If you know the story of Continental and tubeless, you'll know that it's traditionally quite a wrestle. But that was easy, no levers required. Let's just throw caution to the wind and see if that'll just seat straight away without any manipulation. Can charge it up to 130 psi, and I know from experience that's about 32 of these pumps. I'm up to 80, 90. 123, that'll do. I want it to be noted that I didn't fiddle, I just put the tyre in. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. I'm pretty happy with that. There you go. That was a single take. It was the easiest tyre fitting I've ever done. The reserve system's different in the sense that it doesn't have the traditional screw top here, so that is loose. The idea is that you don't take these off, you just leave them on, and even if you need to adjust your pressure while riding, it's on tight here to the thread, which you can release it and let air out. And it's this part of the valve that makes it so special. Right, just clipping in. Took a while to get started, but that's because I wanted to get all the preamble sorted before I set off. And this is my first 50 metres riding on the reserve wheels, which have got an enormous internal of, let's say 25 mil. It's 25.4 on the rear and 24.9 on the front, or the other way around, something like that. And 32 mil rubber, and it looks like this. And it sounds pretty terrific, and I have, for the purpose of this exercise, 48 psi front and rear. I don't know why, I just came up with that because I tried to find the recommendations on the pressure chart, but there was no pressure chart, well, certainly that I could find. So let's get riding and ideally complete one circuit after another, but different wheels each time. Okay? I'll report in when I've got some observations to make. And before I venture up a hill to go down a hill, I will say already the sensations after 1 kilometre are that 32 mil is like riding a lounge chair compared to the office chair of the 28 mil that I have been riding for the last few months. It changes the whole characteristic of the bike. You feel more elevated because you are more elevated, and you feel more in touch with the ground because you are more in touch with the ground, because the pressure is considerably lower. I've been running more or less 58, 60 psi, depending on my weight and the exact tyre and rim combo, but that has dropped considerably while I've gone for the bigger bag tyres. And Now it's time to ride up a hill. Okay, stay tuned. I think it's best to go up a hill first when you're just getting used to riding outside again. New wheels, new tyres, new pressures, new sensations. I'm at the head of the Sphinx Trail, which is 5.6 kilometres from where I started this ride. I've just noticed that the auto pause on the new Wahoo Elemnt Ace still gives you your data while you pause. So that's what I've done so far, 5.6 kilometres, 16 minutes and a bit, 171 metres of climbing. Now go down the hill and up the other side. So, notes after the first descent. Number one, I didn't go very hard at all. But I found it was very, very easy to get up to 50k an hour and just sort of, yeah, on not a very steep descent and hold it without having to apply too much power. But one thing that makes a huge difference is the huge computer on the front of this bike. Wahoo Elemnt Bolt. That grew into the Wahoo Elemnt Rome, and then the Big Daddy. Yeah, we're getting used to things being bigger because we want more data and blah, blah, blah. And this has got features that I didn't know existed, like a bell. If you double tap the screen on Wahoo's first touchscreen cycle computer, it sounds the bell. But, see this, that bit there? I've added that because there is so little clearance and the slightest bump makes it rattle. So, I've got to see if I can arrange a longer mount, a different mount, a more appropriate mount. Pulling in, paying attention to that sign, and unfortunately rolling into a batch of broken glass. So we'll see how those tyres cope with that. They're all seasons, which means they've got a little bit of extra, I don't know, extra love, extra care, extra protection, you know. Anyway, the inertia, in other words, rolling on the flat rather than coming up a hill on these wheels, I would say, you know, like in comparison with my memory of the ERE wheels, I would say these roll really nicely on the flats. So 406 metres of climbing in 16 kilometres, and I'm just going to try and replicate the same course with different wheels, and I think that means just basically taking it steady. I'm not going for any land speed records or trying to prove how fast I can go on different tyres. I'm just sort of trying to ascertain the difference in sensations from one to the next. Thoughts on this computer? Too big, too heavy, too noisy, and loads of data. Like, it's really good, but I don't know, I sort of feel like with that size, just put your phone there and use a quad lock or something. I don't know. You know, sometimes bigger is better, sometimes newer is better, but not always. when you're used to riding like every day, every second day or so, if you take a fortnight off the bike on the road, it takes a little while to get back to that familiarity, but I'm there now. I think, I don't know, I'm really uncomfortable with the rattling of that computer, and I'm sort of looking for a mid-ride solution, and it's not happening. I don't have that. Also worth noting, lots of things to remember today. There is like a security strap that you can attach to that thing there, and it's elasticized. And I had it on because I thought, that thing, it's pretty hefty, you know, like, hello, you know, like, there it is in contrast to in comparison with my face. Like, I reckon that's pretty significant. And it weighs that much. I did weigh it. And I thought, if, whoop, so that clicked in, and if that bounced out, I'd be pretty upset because I think it had hit the ground with fair force. So I had the strap on, and then I realised with the elasticized thing, last night before I was prepping my bike, if that thing fell off with the elasticized thing, that chunky device would be dangling into the spokes from the setup that I've got, and that would spell pretty close to instant disaster, I reckon. So I've gone for the option of, if that thing falls off, I'll have to go back and get it and hope that it hasn't been damaged too much by the fall. Lap 1, summary. 48 psi. I'm reckoning, I believe, I surmise, is too much. Well, there's a few things contributing to that assessment. Number one, not meaning to harp on about it, the rattle of the cycle computer. It's just disconcerting. It's a sound I'm not familiar with, and it makes me feel like the headset's loose or something, and it's not. But also I would say the larger tyre just gives you this floatability that you don't quite have. It's more acute steering with the narrower tyres. You just sort of, whoa, you know, hovercraft around the corners compared with the narrower tyres. Lap 1, and the wheels are waterside as I pulled in. So there's a leak hole, bits of new tyre. It's said to be turbulent aero, which is something I could have tested yesterday because it was really quite windy, but I didn't go out, and today it's very still. Righto. Yeah, for the record, they do fit. I filmed it earlier, but let's do it again. I asked Trek about tyre clearance once, and they said that they wanted 4 to 5 mil. Between rubber and carbon fibre to classify it as clearance. And I think I've got 4 mil, let's say.